What's up, everybody? How are you? Today we're going to talk about why breathing saves us from self-sabotage. How many of us have jumped the gun on something, went off on somebody, got rid of something before they gave it a chance to actually show up and show you exactly what it was in your life and whether it was going to be so bad or so good. Hasty decisions, anxiety. Breathing is like one of the most powerful tools that we all possess that we don't have to pay for. It is something that everybody has, but if you don't use it, you can't get the benefit from it, right? Welcome to the conversation, everybody. I'm going to be dabbing because it's hot today. I had to go turn on my air. I'm not a big, air conditioning person, but man, hey, Mike. Good to see you too. Welcome to the conversation. Today we're talking about why breathing saves us from self-sabotage, right? How many of you in the chat, right, I see all the like buttons coming in on that, because I'm sure a lot of us can relate to not breathing before we make a decision, not breathing before we've made a choice, and how either devastating it's been, how it's worked against you, how it's caused emotional wounds to someone else, including yourself, right? Hey, Dee Dee. Hey, Shamika. Welcome, y'all. Welcome, welcome. Definitely need to practice the breathing to deal with stress. Yeah, this is, and especially now, at a time where we're dealing with such uncertainty, breathing is like a go-to tool that I highly recommend for everybody to use on a regular basis. And let me just say this, it is not necessarily the easiest tool to use, but if you practice it, it gets easier. If you practice it, it becomes this empowerment tool. But it has to be something that you do at the most difficult of times in order to make it work. We gotta work these things. We can't do it when it's convenient. You would never know how it can work on your behalf if you only do it when it's easy. Breathing works when we do it when it's hard. Hey everybody, welcome to the conversation. What's up, Tasha? What's up, Khaldun? Breathing works when you do it when it's hard. Like there is a time, right before you're going to make a choice. There's this split second, right? There's this window, there's this space of time that we all have, that before we go into a knee-jerk reaction, something that you're used to doing, something that you're used to saying, and because it's comfortable, because it's familiar, you do it. But it can have devastating effects, or it can put you right back in the loop, the cycle that you've always been, causing issues in your life because you don't take a second, you don't take that very delicate split second to make a new choice. Even if the new choice is silence. That can be hard. When you would normally say something to choose silence, so difficult. But it could break a pattern in you. If you do something that you're not used to doing in that moment, you can start to break the pattern. You guys have heard me talk about this before, right? Where it is said from behavioral science. Hey everybody, welcome to the conversation. Hey Debbie, welcome from the Netherlands. It is said that as we do certain behaviors, we have nerve wirings that come together because they're being conditioned to come together. And the more that we do the behavior, the nerve wirings come together more. And then they lock in with each other, right? So it becomes a behavior pattern. So then it can translate into a knee-jerk reaction. So that's when you do something that you're used to. You could be getting in new stimuli, but because you're used to reacting to it from an old way of doing things, you just automatically do it. You may see a trait in somebody that looks familiar from something you've experienced before, right? And then you just immediately pounce on it like, that's what I know what that is, and I'm reacting like this. And you may be wrong, right? Maybe that person's not like that at all. Maybe they are. Could be wisdom, but it also could be something else. And if you don't go with the knee-jerk reaction, you could allow the situation, one, to teach you something different that you didn't see before because you're breathing, you're giving it space to show up differently, right? And so you let the things show up differently, and then it also gives you more composure. It helps you to gain, practice, harness composure. So there's so many benefits to doing something different, choosing something different in that split moment of time that can break old patterns that have been destructive in your life, that have ruined relationships, that have ruined a moment because you go back to an old way of thinking and you bring that outdated thinking into this fresh moment and you don't allow it to show up differently, right? So breathing is a tool that you can use to stop yourself from going into that old knee-jerk reaction. Even if it's warranted, you at least give yourself a chance to breathe and see it from a more expansive perspective. And maybe even if you still want to deliver the same message, you could deliver it differently. You can hold on to your composure. You can hold on to your peace a bit more. You can hold on to more harmony within yourself. You don't have to lose yourself. And then you can take this behavior. Hey, y'all, welcome. You can take this behavior into different areas of your life. So there's that famous quote that I love to put out there: how you do anything is how you do everything. So if you can practice this level of patience and breathing over here, you can take that same thing and put it in another area of your life. So now you practice it with family, you can do it at work. You practice it at work, you can do it with friends. You feel me? This can change everything. But it takes practice. It takes consistency with that practice. And it takes doing what's hard in the moment. Because we both know that if you are used to reacting to something a certain way, even when you let off energy, it feels good. Even if it's a negative stimuli, it's still letting off energy. It's making you feel more alive. Right? So you may go to that reaction even if on the other end of it is some results that you don't like. It's just, I got that off. But then it's like, dang, I just ruined that moment. Or I just ruined that relationship. Or I just put an invisible wound in someone. And now I got to find a way to repair that or fix that or, repair the energy. When in essence, if we practice what's hard in the moment, we don't have to do that work at the end of it. Woo! Okay. Hey, y'all, welcome to the conversation. Let me see what you're saying. Caldoon says, Debbie says, hi, love her. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Brad, hey. I'm trying to learn how to breathe when I'm angry and feeling down. Okay, we're talking about it today. Hey, Marquita, welcome to the conversation. Okay, so this is not easy for a lot of us. If you don't naturally default to calm, this is not an easy practice. I'm not going to blow smoke up your tail and be like, oh, just breathe, and it just works out. No, this is something that I've had to work on in myself. Like, for example, gosh, there's a couple things that even happened today. I woke up this morning in a very, weird place, okay? I was privy to that young man who passed away recently, and his videos being passed around on the internet. The young man that drowned because his friends and, people were goading him on to swim across this pond. And, I couldn't even take in all the information because I really was afraid to take it in because I was already hurt that it happened. And I don't even know if he could swim. But he felt that, talk about peer pressure, right? And hey, Michael, and he just jumped in the water and started going out there, and then he got to the center of the pond, and the worst that could happen happened. And it just, I felt so bad. I felt so bad for everybody that was involved. I felt so bad for the family. I was like, oh, life, And it woke me up in the middle of the night, all kinds of stuff. And I got up just in a weird place this morning. I didn't sleep very long. There were a couple other things. See, vibrationally, I was here. So then other thoughts that came in at this vibration were there for me to deal with. And I was like, man, I didn't start my morning off real crazy, right? And I was like, I didn't feel the urge to meditate like I would normally. I got a phone call. I put my stuff on do not disturb, but it still comes through. So I didn't feel my normal urge to meditate. Like I just, ugh. And this happens a lot if I'm taking in like weird energy. I get restless instead of wanting to settle down. But because I'm willing to do what's hard, and I'm motivated because I want to help you all, right? So I'm like, do what's hard, Ron, so you could tell people what it's like when you don't feel like doing something. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you traverse that? How do you conquer it? How do you still do it? Right. So I'm like, all right, Ro, we're going to do what's hard right now. So I knew 20 minutes was like pushing it. 20 minutes to do a meditation at that moment where I had all this anxiousness in my body was like pushing it. I was like, all right, don't go for 20 minutes. Do 10, do 11. Magic number, that's my master number. So I was like, do 11 minutes. That in itself even was like, but I was like, you're going to do it. You're going to sit here and you're going to breathe. And guess what? You're not going to run from the emotions either. You're just going to be present with them because they're just emotions and you're going to get by them. This too shall pass. So sit in them. What are they saying? It's okay. The pain will pass. The hurt will pass. Sit in them. Don't run. Control yourself. Be in the moment with you. Because I know that if I'm able to harness this moment, I'm going to be able to take this with me someplace else. So I'm sitting in this moment. I'm not going to run. And I did my 11 minutes of meditation. And initially, the first few minutes were definitely like a little anxiousness and restlessness that I had to kind of combat with, myself on. I was challenged with that. And then eventually it was subsiding. And I just kept breathing. Hello, breath. I would take deeper breaths. I was like, remember to breathe, bro. Remember to breathe. Breathe again. Breathe even deeper this time. I don't care that it feels uncomfortable. Breathe again. Breathe even deeper. And every time I started to relax more and more. Next thing you know, my 11 minutes was up. I was so proud of myself. Because there are times that I've skipped it in the past. Because I just felt too anxious to meditate. Or too anxious to be still. And I was like, nope, we're going to sit with these things. We're not going to run from them. That's how you conquer them. That's how you get to see what they're trying to tell you if they want to tell you anything. The emotions. The thoughts, they're gonna pass, they're gonna dissipate. And you know how you shine light on darkness, what happens? It dissipates. Breathe. The power of the breath. And so guess what? Now I'm a little bit stronger today because I did that. I'm a little bit stronger. I'm a little bit more in control of my space, my inner state of being, my emotional state of being. I'm a little bit more in control of that because I did what was hard in the moment. You can too. Let me see what you guys are saying. Thank you so much for the beautiful compliment. Marquita says, oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Renee says, oh, I need this so much. I go straight from calm to psycho in 2.5 seconds. Shout out to your transparency. Hello. I almost lost it at work today. Not a pretty situation. A friend of mine lost it at work today, and it was hilarious. I'll tell you guys about that in a second. So, right, there is the power of breathing right there. Another person that I think is an exceptional example of the power of breath and how you can harness it for calm, and you still can let your message land, but you still have your composure. Like there are times that you're going to want to let somebody still have the message behind that knee-jerk reaction. But if you can gather yourself up with your breath, if you can gather yourself up by giving yourself that split second of time that we've been talking about, where you have the opportunity to make a new choice, even if that choice is silence, because it's different. It's going to break a pattern, right? Even if you practice silence, that's powerful. And that's going to give you time to think. That's going to give you time to let the situation show up a little bit more differently than you've let it show up in previous moments before. And quite possibly, which has happened to me, because I was able to access that breath before I did that knee-jerk reaction, because I was able to access stillness, silence. I didn't even say what I was going to say next. It stopped me. was like, ooh. And then I heard it different. Oh. Then I realized that maybe, I'm just a little bit on edge right now. Bring it down. Oh, I'm just overreacting. They didn't really mean it like that. Oh, they're coming from a completely different perspective. But if you jump on it like that, you're coming from the past way that you've responded to things. You're not even letting that person or situation show up fresh, different. And so you go with the knee-jerk reaction. Now you're back in that same pattern. But if you take that split second before you can react, make a new choice, even if it's silence, you just broke a pattern. You can make a new choice in that moment. And now you're going to start to shift in how you allow things and people to show up, and you're going to harness the power of the breath. You can do this with anxiety. You can do this with so many things. So that person that I was talking about is Malcolm X. For him to be who he was at the time that he was who he was, very, very polarizing figure, right? Very, until you get to know what he was about, especially for me, I had a different perspective about Malcolm. But when I read his book and I saw the movie and I just started to take him in differently, I was beyond impressed. He's one of my favorite people as far as American history is concerned. I marvel at his ability to access calm. Imagine the things that were said to him. Imagine the ways that he was spoken to. And because he was able to access a way to think about it, right? That's another thing. Like, what are you telling yourself about the information you're receiving that is inspiring how you respond? Are you taking it personally and it doesn't belong to you? Is that person's thing, but you've allowed it yourself to take it personally, and so you're responding a certain way? But if you chose to see it another way, if you didn't take it personally, if you didn't make an assumption about it, would you respond differently? So his ability to not pounce on things when he was being disrespected, to not pounce on things when a level of disregard was coming his way, he would pause sometimes, or he would breathe sometimes, and then he would come from a space of harnessed calm. He still was delivering the same message that he could have delivered with fiery angst, right? But he didn't. He delivered a lot of his messaging with a lot of calm, especially the people that were like challenging him. And I marveled at that. Breath can get you to that place. Breathing can get you to that place. Take one breath, practice with one breath, and then practice with 3 breaths. Count them deep. When it's hard, not when it's easy. When it's hard. Let's see what you guys are saying. Willie says, hey, don't forget I want to do the virtual session for my employees on authenticity. You got it, Willie. Just reach out and let me know. I'm down. I'm up. Yeah, this is true. We have to stay in the moment. I love you. Thank you. Brad says sometimes it's hard to breathe with everything that's going on in the world and in the country. Rather, it's this pandemic or corruption within the government and the deep state. But at the end of the day, I have to be unafraid to inhale and take that deep breath and not let stress take me away from reality. Come on, it is something that, thank you, Brad, can bring us to the present moment. And I want you guys to remember they're just emotions. Yes, they can hurt, but they will dissipate. When you shine light on darkness, what happens to darkness? It dissipates. Presence is light. Being with yourself, being with your emotions, being with your thoughts is light because you're shining awareness on it. Well, what are you saying to me? What do you want me to be aware of right now? What do I need to know? And sometimes just facing this stuff is like, oh, okay, now what? Remember, I told you sometimes drop out of your head and into your body, wherever the feeling is of anxiousness, wherever the feeling is of anger, wherever the feeling is of hurt, wherever the feeling is of whatever that emotion is that has you uncomfortable. And just sit with it sometimes. Sometimes we run and we don't get why it's there. And it keeps coming back to get our attention. It keeps coming back to nag you through different people and situations. It keeps coming back until you face it. And use your breath while you're there. breathe through it, and eventually, especially if you put your awareness on it, it dissipates. And that's power. And each time you bring more awareness to it, its power goes away, your power up levels. Because you ain't running. And the more you can reduce its power and up level yours, you can get more perspective on it. Because you're not running. Darlene says, hi, Rhona, I had to learn to breathe. It saved my life. Bless up, Darlene. Thank you for sharing that. Dean says, I love your words of encouragement. My boss drove me crazy this afternoon. This is what I needed to hear right now. Thank you so much. You got it, Dean. Breathing is a powerful thing. Renee says the way he handled things was almost poetic. Yes. Malcolm X, great example, Ro. Bless you. Bless you too. Ernst says, recently I was in a situation that pushed my buttons regarding the health and safety of my mom. It pushed me because I felt I didn't effectively take action during the health challenges. Okay. Leading to my first father's death and later my sister's death. I need to know right now I've done all I can do regarding my mom's health, no matter what anyone thinks or feels. Yes, I lost it. I lost my composure. No one, including me, felt good afterwards. I stopped deep breathing and was in full fight mode. Point was made, but in an ugly way. Breathing was missing. Thank you for this message. Breathe. Bless up. Bless up. I just got to chill. Because it takes practice, you guys. Breathing is not easy, but it's so powerful. If you can harness it. How do you harness it? You practice it, especially when it's difficult. Because you can still deliver the same message, but how that message lands. And it can still be just as poignant and powerful. As a matter of fact, it'll probably land even more because it's not coming in with that, right? It's like boundaries. Whoa. It's like respect, self-honor. Whoa. That's powerful energy. We deep today in it. Thank you, Ernst, for that. Tiffany says, still trying to breathe better this week, as you asked me to a couple nights ago. Bless up. Renee says, I wish you'd go back to doing your meditation at night. Ro, I live with so much anxiety, my PTSD. That was something that I found honestly helped. I never in my life was able to actually meditate until I was doing at night with you. You have such an amazing way of calming and soothing me. That's beautiful. Oh, that's beautiful. Well, you guys can always access those 11 days of healing with Ro online, but maybe I will drop in every once in a while and have a nightly meditation with you guys just to kind of anchor more calm and community. Because I do realize that we need community. That energy of community can be very healing and supportive. So thank you for that, for reminding me of the power of that and how much is still very much needed. So does anybody want to say anything to me before I get out of here? Because I think we just had a really powerful conversation in a short bit of time. My girlfriend today called me and I shared with her what I'm going to put with this, that I wrote. And she was like, oh my God, you talking to me, girl. I just straight up snapped on somebody. We just cracked up. I said, those are the moments we breathe. Those are the moments we practice when it's hard. But I'm telling you, and let me say, you don't have to bottle up. That's not the suggestion. It's not that you're not self-honoring. It's just the way you do it. And quite possibly you're going to feel so much more empowered because you still let them know what time it is, but you kept your composure. You still kept more of your harmony with you. You were able to keep more of your peace intact. Because a lot of the times, what's happening out there, it's either some judgment you have about it that can be changed or, switched. That can always be the case. Give it new meaning. And then it may be something that's coming from them that has absolutely nothing to do with you, but you're reacting. Right? I love it. Tiffany, team anchored. Don't forget I need your help, sister. You got it, Willie. Hit me up in private message. Dee Dee says, I'll send my schedule for one-on-one. Okay, bless up, baby. Yes, if anybody needs any one-on-one sessions, go to rhonabennett.com, check out the services tab, and let's get to whatever you need to get to. If you want help identifying blind spots in your life, I'm here for that. If you need help healing, a lot of us are walking around with shame and needing to let go of something or needing to shift on the inside but don't know how to do it. You may be bottled up with emotions. Oh, there's so much going on right now, and it's coming to the surface for a lot of people because we're quarantined. You know, we're in a shift. And so you're with yourself a lot and you're like, oh my God. Either how do I get in alignment with myself, or how do I get away from myself? Either way, if you need assistance with taking the next best step in your life, go to rhonabennett.com, check out the services tab, get on board, let's make it happen. Also, PPU, my online coaching school, Personal Power University, is going to be starting in July. I thought I was going to do it in June, but I got something coming up in June, on June 20th. Definitely check that out. It's called Emerge. We're going to be letting you know about more of the people involved with that. And so that's kind of taking up my focus. I want to make sure I give my quality self to that. And then we take off in July. Okay? Let's see what you're saying. I've been focusing on my breathing while in my prayer mode, asking God to give you your very own TV show. You deserve it. Thank you, Low Base. Lucinda says, hey, Soror. Everyone should take her one-on-one. Bless up, Dee Dee. So, you will rejoin PPU. Bless up, man. Hey, it's an ongoing journey, and what a beautiful support system we have there to do it. And I'm very hands-on. We are a family. So if you feel like you need that kind of support system, if you desire that kind of support system, we got our own little country club going on. June 20th, bless up, honey. Yes. So it's been my pleasure connecting with you guys today. Breathe. The power of the breath to tame anxiety, to stop from self-sabotaging, to stop from hurting and wounding other people, right? Before we go into our knee-jerk reactions. To give us a chance to think before we either let something go or jump into something too soon. Breathe. And if you need to, take more than one breath and take it deep and count it. In your mind, be present with the breath. Feel your body expanding. Do it when it's hard. That's when you gain more power. That's when it becomes a tool you actually use in life. That's when you can add it to your arsenal, your life tool belt. And you can pull that puppy out at any time and harness the power of breathing and calm and peace and keep more of your harmonious state of inner being intact. Such a powerful thing to do. Okay, you guys, it's been my pleasure connecting with you. Until next time.